right, everybody, welcome to the last day of 2020. Hurrah! Hoorah! Whether you've had a good year or a not so good year or a terrible year or a horrific year, the year is over today. Okay, so this message is brought to you by 2021. Brought to you by your sponsors. Brought to you by 2021. So let's see, let's get a little sense of the wrapping up of this year and then moving into the new year. Please bring messages for those watching. Let's see where we go. Let's see where we go. All right. Protected by angels. Angels always have your back, you know, no matter what is happening. Wandering path, that showed up yesterday. Overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything. What did my mother used to say? God only gives you what he knows you can handle. And a lot of it is a change agent. A lot of it is about being a change agent, about reflecting things back to you that, you know, maybe like, oh yeah, this is what I really need to do for myself, because you can only do for yourself, right? We have impact on other people, and we can do, you know, a lot of you empaths, me included, overgive, and it's not that you're looking for a scorekeeping thing. Well, I gave to you, so you give to me. It's not that. It's that, are things balanced? Do I feel like I can freely give without really keeping any kind of score, right? So this is true of your life as well. It's like, okay, and if you're feeling like you're giving out too much or you're running aground or something like that, it's now incumbent upon you to do self-care. Self-care is not a spa day. That's not self-care, all right? That's lovely and that's nice. Self-care is taking a look at what you're doing and how you're making decisions. Self-care is getting charge of your money. Self-care is doing things differently that are going to feed you. All right, that is self-care. So I feel like their 2021 is going to provide, you know, we're not stepping from this year into something that is going to be completely without obstacles. Okay, 2021 is going to definitely have its game. Okay, and it's mostly because I think we kind of equate when things are easy, or when we feel that way, that things are easy, that there's no obstacles to overcome. You're just doing a better job of it. All right, you're just doing a better job when you see things going on, and when you know every single day you encounter challenges. Every single day. That's what living on this earth is about. You just may have a different mindset that day, or you just may be feeling in a way that you have fed yourself, so you're feeling more, you know, satisfied or fulfilled, and so it doesn't bother you as much when a challenge shows up. So self-care is about doing those tough things. It is about boundaries. Boy, that was a big one for this year. To see where people create boundaries and where they don't. And sometimes you take it out of the hide of another person that's not really a party to the lack of boundary relationship. Sometimes that can happen. Okay. And, you know, because it's got to come from somewhere. And so so my challenge to you in 2021 is about self-care, is about really getting a hold of those things that are depleting you, managing relationships better for yourself, walking your path. You know, being an empath comes with great power comes great responsibility. So being an empath means you got to learn lots about boundaries, okay? Because empaths do attract takers a lot, okay? And it may be a while before you recognize it. It may just be, if it's a long-term relationship, it could be not a long-term pattern, but it could be a short-term pattern. It could be because something has changed in their life. All right, so you got to really get a hold of things right now. And that's what I feel like the Aquarian energy is going to make it a lot easier for you to see these patterns, for you to get clarity for yourself. So today at noon on Patreon, we are doing a live. We're going to change the format into something that's more about opening to your own intuition. That is my goal for you in 2021, that my initial belief and my still belief about tarot is that I'm here to show up and channel messages that come through. You're here to discern whether that's for you or not. And so my goal here is to help you get stronger in that capability, because life is not really about tarot readings. It is a tool for us to manage, for us to move forward with. And I want to help you gain clarity and help you understand when messages are meant for you and when they're not. Okay? All right, so let's see where we go. Let's see where we go here. Lots of shuffling happening. Lots of shuffling happening. All right. I love it when this happens. Who's the toxic person in your life who's running you down? Who's the taker? Who's the taker? Because now there's something to learn on both sides of this relationship. You may not have realized that this person was taking so much from you, but now it feels like a burden. So there's something new to learn here. This, my darling, is self-care. Your challenge here is about learning how to manage this relationship. Does it need to be ended? Sometimes this person could be a long-term taker, or that's their whole purpose in life, or that's who they are, right? Other times it can be somebody who is episodically taking. You got to determine that. I'm glad you got the Ace of Swords here. So you're taking a hard look at this. Look at that. Hermit, Seven of Cups, Ace of Swords. I'll walk you through this. Two of Wands, World. Some of you are going to be ending a relationship. Whoopsie. All right, all these came out. Some of you are going to be ending a relationship, okay, that has felt very, very toxic to you, that has felt very much like a taker, okay? And you're really looking at this pattern now. This hermit is really seeing it. He's got his light shining on it. He's like, wow, I didn't realize, because I do believe in it's so easy to detect the people who come on like takers and are just narcissistic and blah. It's super easy. It's those people who are covert about it. It's those people who are episodic about it. Those people who don't know how to give self-care to themselves. Those people who are being impacted in their life in a heavy way right now. And it's got to come from somewhere. So it's coming out of your empath hide. Okay, whoopsie, got my boot on. It's coming out of your own empath hide. So you here, this is you also, Two of Wands, again, making the decision to learn something new, looking right at that Page of Pentacles and being like, you know what? I'm going to draw a line around myself and I'm going to create better boundaries for myself. These two cards are boundary cards. You see the circle there with the wreath? And then also she's in a walled garden. So it doesn't mean you're selfish. It doesn't mean in any way, because we've talked about the difference between selfish and caring for self. And I think that was a huge lesson for me in my upbringing, because I didn't know that those were two different things. And in fact, your job is to care for yourself. So your job is to put on your mask first, the way we always talk about on this channel, and then how are you helping other people? A lot of times the way you help other people can bring in a little toxicity to a relationship. If you are an overgiver, that can bring in toxicity. That can be a controlling thing. That can be, right? So it's like, how am I looking at myself in this relationship? Let's look at ourselves first, but not in a way of shame or guilt or, oh, I'm to blame. That's not what I'm suggesting. What you're looking at is your own behavior and how you have reacted or not reacted to the taking. How have you been in that connection? And I feel like this person might just be a little bit clueless or a little bit confused right now. And so I feel like it is going to be up to you to shine the light of truth here. And from a place of wisdom and compassion. And, just be like, you know what? I don't know that you're doing this, but this is how it's occurring to me. This is how it's showing up to me. And so here's what I am going to do to work on myself. I'm going to work on my own way of dealing with boundaries with people, and you're included in that. I feel like this person might have some anger, some resentment, or there might be anger and resentment on both sides. And so there's going to be this Five of Swords moment of clashing of, well, you did this or you did that, or you did this or you did that. And then there's going to be this makeup session, a little makeup session, and then a clarity about moving forward. I think this is really good because I feel like the ending needs to happen. There needs to be some kind of conversation. There needs to be some kind of real clarity coming out of that conversation, and then things can move forward. So this could be a love relationship. This could be a friend. This could be a family member. But something has become super duper toxic. And instead of lashing out at the other person and blaming them or something like that, instead of doing that, change how that's the cool thing about being on the spiritual journey, is that you get challenges. You do get repeat challenges, okay? But the cool thing is that you get to be like, oh, I see the pattern from a new, higher perspective. I see, and so you can have compassion for this person, right? This toxic situation. It doesn't have to be a toxic person for the situation to be toxic, okay? So you can look at it and be like, oh, all right, I see the pattern. I'm trying to understand why they're behaving the way they are. Is this who they are, or is this episodic? And then I'm going to address it. But first, I'm going to address myself. I'm going to address myself. Well, that too. But first, I'm going to address myself and be like, okay, how am I contributing to this issue? Am I not calling this person out on their lack of boundaries? Am I over giving? Am I oversharing? Am I trying to get love from somebody? Am I trying to manipulate the situation? Because I feel like on both sides, there's some kind of manipulation. And, you can say what you want about that word and say what you want about empaths, never manipulative or anything like that. And I guess I agree with that to a point. I think sometimes it's a defense mechanism to be the one who stands in the light of, I only do what I want to do. And that's great. And that's fine. Okay. I only do what I want to do. I'm not giving to somebody to get back. I'm not a scorekeeper. I get it. But sometimes, even with good friends, good family members, good husbands and wives, even in that instance, somebody else is under enormous stress. And they are unable to understand how to deal with that. And so it becomes, they kind of take it out of you, pound of flesh, a pound of flesh, a pound of flesh. Okay. So this could be a little bit of a row, a little bit of an issue here. Let's talk more about that. Clarify the Knight of Swords, Five of Swords here. Fool. Two of Swords, Sun, Five of Wands. So what you need to do here is you need to stand firm in your own. This is why doing the work first before you say anything is going to be good. It's going to be useful for you because there's going to be some conflict here. And I feel like your conscience is clear, Fool and Sun, when you are like, look, I looked at myself. You know what? Here's what I'm doing to contribute to this. I am a little bit overgiving. That's a little bit manipulative. I'm trying to get you to come to the table more. I'm trying to get you to be more of what I need in this relationship. And I realize that is causing some problems. I'm also not calling you out on boundaries. I'm not holding you to account for some things. And that's a problem. But I'm seeing that you're having a situation going on in your life that's stressing you out, and it's taken a bite out of me. Okay? And so you've got to get into that Two of Swords place, and you've got to allow there to be conflict. A lot of times empaths are afraid of conflict. It doesn't have to be an empath. A lot of people are afraid of conflict. So You got to learn to feed yourself, fill yourself up. And that in the conversation with this person is wisdom. Because if they're having a hard time in their life, they got fired, they're having trouble with money, they're having trouble with their family members, something's going on there, and they're not able to manage that in a meaningful way. And they don't realize they're sucking energy from you. Okay, they don't realize that that's happening. They may not know. So you're shining a light here. You're definitely shining a light here on the path for this other person. And you're clarifying, you're giving some wisdom to the whole thing. And you're allowing there to be conflict. Confrontation is not a bad thing when you have done the work. And when you have looked at yourself, and because naturally, if this person gets defensive or this person gets angry, they're going to throw it back in your face. And so your job is to be like, you know what? Good point by you. I looked at that, and here's my part of that. This is what I plan to do. And you also need to have an end game. You need to have this is what I'd like to happen from this conversation. You need to have a little plan and be like, okay, I would like to have us look at how we're handling our friendship or our relationship in very meaningful way. This can even be for a boss. This can be something like that. Someone's just take. You need to have a plan. Okay? So do your work. Look at yourself first. Don't throw yourself under the bus. Do things that are going to be self-care for yourself and have a plan. Allow confrontation. 6 things. Allow confrontation. Okay? All right. I'm going to continue on with this reading, and we'll see where we go. If this is of interest to you, please, the link is below. If you're on Patreon and you already have these readings, the full readings, the rest of the reading starts right now.